What are you doing?
The boy's name was Eli. He was 14 years old, thin as a shadow, with cracked lips and hands rough from sleeping on cold streets. He had not eaten since the day before. He spent most nights behind the hospital dumpsters because the walls blocked the wind. Sometimes nurses gave him bread. Sometimes they chased him away. That day the rain was heavy. Eli stood near the hospital doors, soaking wet, shaking. He wasn't begging. He never did. He just watched people go in and out, warm and clean, holding things he had never owned. Inside one bright room, doctors stood in silence. A baby lay on a hospital bed. Noah Hargreave, 8 months old. Tubes everywhere. Machines breathing for him. His chest barely moved. The lead doctor looked at the monitor for a long time. Then he slowly removed his gloves. "I'm sorry," he said softly. Time of death. The sound of crying filled the room. Noah's father, a billionaire known all over the world, fell to his knees. His expensive suit meant nothing now. He had already buried his wife months earlier. She had died after childbirth, and now the last piece of her was slipping away from him. His hands trembled as he pressed his face to the floor, unable to breathe. One nurse reached to turn off the machines. That was when Eli stepped inside. No one noticed him at first, but Eli noticed something everyone else missed. The baby's mouth twitched. Eli's heart slammed hard in his chest. "He's not gone," Eli said. The room went still. "Get him out," someone snapped. The nurse reached for the machine. "No," Eli shouted. Before anyone could stop him, Eli ran forward, grabbed the baby, and pulled the tubes away. Alarms screamed. Doctors yelled. Security rushed in. Eli didn't think. He just ran. Straight to the sink. He held Noah the way his mother once held his little sister before she died. He tilted the baby forward and let water run over his mouth. Not fast. Not rough. Just enough. "In the name of Jesus," Eli whispered, his voice breaking. "Breathe." Seconds felt like hours. Then, a cough. Water spilled. Another cough. A thin, weak cry filled the room. Everyone froze. The baby they said was dead was alive. Chaos filled the hospital. Doctors rushed forward. Nurses shouted orders. Security grabbed Eli's arms. But the baby was crying. Crying. The sound no one thought they would ever hear again. "Wait," the lead doctor said slowly. They checked the monitors. Oxygen levels were rising. Heartbeat steady. Weak but real. Impossible. They took Noah back to the bed. Machines restarted. Tubes replaced. But this time, Noah fought them. His tiny fingers moved. Eli stood shaking in the corner, arms wrapped around himself. His clothes dripped water onto the floor. No one knew what to do with him. Daniel Hargreave walked toward the boy. Up close, Eli looked even younger. Dirt under his nails. Old scars on his arms. Fear in his eyes. "You saved my son," Daniel said, voice breaking. "I just didn't want him to die," Eli whispered. Doctors pulled Daniel aside. They spoke in quiet voices. What the boy did shouldn't work. There's no medical explanation. But the child responded. They ran scans again. Noah's brain activity had changed. Not healed, but waking. The doctors had no words. Eli sat alone in a chair, stomach growling. A nurse brought him food. He ate slowly, like it might disappear if he rushed. Later that night, Daniel returned. "Where is your family?" he asked gently. Eli looked down. "My mom died. My sister too," he said. "I ran away after." Daniel swallowed hard. "You can't go back outside tonight," he said. "Please, stay." For the first time in years, Eli slept in a clean bed. The news spread fast. Doctors called Noah a miracle. He may never walk. He may never talk. But he's alive. And Eli stayed. Every day, Eli sat by Noah's bed. He talked to him. Sang soft songs his mother once sang. Told him about the stars and how the night sky looked when you had nowhere to sleep. Noah responded. A finger curl. An eye opening. A soft sound. Doctors watched in silence. One nurse whispered, "He responds more to the boy than to us." Daniel watched too. This homeless boy had done what his money couldn't. One night, Noah's oxygen dropped again. Doctors rushed in. Eli stood frozen. Then Noah's tiny hand closed around Ellie's finger. The numbers slowly rose. The doctor stared at the monitor. "He stabilizes when the boy is near," she said. No one argued. Months passed. Noah learned to swallow on his own. Then to sit. Then to laugh. Doctors called it unexplained recovery. Daniel called it grace. Eli no longer slept behind dumpsters. He went to school. He had clean clothes. Food every day. One afternoon, Daniel sat beside him. "You didn't just save my son," he said. "You saved me." He adopted Eli that year. Not because of the miracle, but because Eli had already lived through enough pain to know how to protect life when it was fragile. Years later, Noah would walk. And when people asked how he survived, Daniel would say, "A boy the world gave up on refused to give up on my son." Years passed quietly. Miracles rarely stayed loud. Eli grew into the Hargreave house the way sunlight fills a room, not all at once, but slowly. Until one day you realize the darkness is gone. He struggled at school at first. Reading came hard. Trust came harder. He flinched at raised voices. Slept with the light on. Ordered food under his bed for months, even though the kitchen was always full. Daniel never scolded him. He understood hunger now. Noah grew strong in small victories. A step. A word. A laugh that echoed through the halls. Doctors continued to visit. Continued to shake their heads. They had no explanation. They stopped trying to find one. They simply called Eli the constant that the world outside didn't forget. Journalists wanted interviews. Churches called Eli a sign. Some doctors questioned the story. Others resented it. Online debates raged: science versus faith. Chance versus divine intervention. Daniel shielded Eli from it all. "You don't owe the world your pain," he told him. "But pain has a way of resurfacing." When Eli turned 17, he froze one afternoon at a crosswalk. Rain fell suddenly, heavy and cold. The smell of wet concrete dragged him back to dumpsters, to hunger, to shaking hands. His breath hitched. His vision blurred. Noah, now 6, noticed first. "Eli," he said softly, reaching for his hand. Eli dropped to his knees. It was Noah who knelt with him. Noah who pressed his forehead to Eli's. Noah who whispered words he had once been whispered himself. "Breathe," Noah said. "Please breathe." And Eli did. That night, Eli finally told Daniel everything he had never said: the guilt of surviving, the fear of being sent away, the weight of being called a miracle when he still felt broken. Daniel listened. Then he said something Eli would never forget. "You didn't save Noah because you were special," Daniel said. "You saved him because you knew what it meant to be invisible. You acted when others had already decided the story was over." Years later, Eli became a pediatric nurse. Not famous. Not celebrated. He worked night shifts. Sat with frightened parents. Talked to children who couldn't sleep. Held hands during moments when machines were louder than hope. Sometimes, when doctors turned away too quickly, Eli stayed. And sometimes, a child breathed again. When Noah grew up, he asked Eli once, "Do you think I'd still be here if you hadn't walked into that room?" Eli smiled gently. I think, he said, that love walked in with me. And somewhere, quietly, without headlines or cameras, the world healed just a little more.